One of Britain's most notorious killers, Jon Venables, has been denied parole after the Parole Board ruled that he was still a danger to children. Now, Venables, when he was 10 years old, along with another boy called Robert Thompson, abducted and murdered 2-year-old James Bulger in a case that horrified and shocked the nation, given the ages of both the offenders and the victim. Now, Venables was released on licence in 2001, having spent 8 years in a youth offenders institute for the murder. He, along with Thompson, were given new identities and were given an anonymity order for life following their release. Venables was recalled to prison in 2010 after he was found to be in possession of indecent images of children, and he later pleaded guilty to that offence. He was later released in August of 2013 before being recalled again in November 2017 after being found again to be in possession of further indecent images of children. Now, Venables had previously been denied parole for this latest offence in 2020. The test that the Parole Board must apply when considering whether or not to release someone who has completed their minimum term or is eligible for parole, for example having been recalled for a licence breach, is whether or not the Parole Board is satisfied that it is no longer necessary for the protection of the public to keep that person confined. So it's not about purely looking at the seriousness of the offence that got them there in the first place, although that can be a relevant factor when determining whether or not it is safe to release someone. It's really about looking at what steps, if any, an offender has taken whilst in prison to atone, rehabilitate, or take any measures to take responsibility for the offending that got them there in the first place. If the person is deemed to meet the test that they no longer are a danger to the public, then they will be released. If they do not meet the test set out by the Parole Board, then they will be permitted to reapply on a date specified when the Parole Board give their reasons for rejecting their application for parole. In coming to their decision, the Parole Board, who held a private hearing which was not open to the public and was not attended by any of James Bulger's family, stated that Venables had accepted that he had a lifelong sexual interest in children and indecent images of children, despite taking part in a considerable amount of work in prison to address this area of risk. He also had a history of taking drugs and secretly trying to use the internet in breach of his licence conditions. The panel was concerned by a continuing issues of sexual preoccupation in this case, warning that there were future risks of him viewing more child sexual abuse images and of him progressing to offences where he might have contact with children, and both of these present a risk of causing serious harm to others. The position now is that Venables remains in prison and Thompson's whereabouts and identity remains subject to an anonymity order, whereby it is a criminal offence to publish details of either of their whereabouts or indeed reveal something that could identify them, and is punishable by a prison sentence. Indeed, in 2013, 2 men were given suspended jail sentences for publishing photographs on Twitter and Facebook said to show the killers of James Bulgar, and another woman was given a suspended sentence for similar offending in 2020. The next time that Venables will be eligible to be considered for parole will be in around 2 years' time. That's all for this video. If you do have any comments, please drop them down below. If you did enjoy this video, then please do consider giving it a like. And if you'd like to see more from me, then please do subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Take care.